And good morning, Suzanne Joy.
Good morning, Deborah Leanne.
It's been a little while since we've convened and captured our conversation. We've had conversations, but I feel like today is an auspicious day to have one of our tuning in conversations. What do you say?
I think it's a great one.
um, all the different teachers and energy people and astrological people and horoscope savvy people and all of I have been following all of these different channelers. Well, not all these. Okay, three. So this week, in terms of listening to what's going on with this full moon, with all of the planets, if you look at the chart of the day of this month, like all the planets are in the corner together in Pisces. And it's all about beginnings and endings. So many are finishing their transit there or just starting there. I mean, there's all these endings and beginnings. And on top of it, we have a full moon and an eclipse. So I have been not, I've been my energy system has been very wonky all week. And I'm just curious if we want to address not necessarily our symptoms, but like how this is intense and we need to understand that it's intense. And then weave in the gene key pulse of the week. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to face it head on, but in gentle compassion. It's all we can do. Let's
Yeah.
get on the ride. It's what we signed up for. So
And
it's
yeah, and the
becoming
breakthrough,
human.
it is becoming human. So that's how, so why don't you go ahead and introduce the gene key of the week? Because that I want to tie into some of the turbulence that's going on in the planet. So
Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that everyone can kind of see. We are moving, as you can see, the red note is turbulence. And we're moving up into the gift of humanity. And the acidic state, or the highest essence, is compassion. So this is about becoming human. It's dealing with the fiery stuff, darkening of the light. As you can see, I love how this is from GeneKeys website, and we also weave in here the I Ching and the codon rings. But if you look at this, the hidden fire hidden within the earth, it's bringing light to the darkest places. This is allowing ourselves to be in concert with life without attaching to a very specific outcome, but it's learning how to be all of ourselves, the dark and the light.
yeah, which,
And
which is human. And I think I want to interject here that a lot of us that have been on a spiritual and, consciousness raising kind of path for a decade or two or three or four, we feel, I think, till recently, I felt like I just needed to rise above it. Like I could just drop into my higher realm state and just, I don't need to be a part of all of this heavy shit going on down here on the planet. And now we are seeing that it's actually, we need to be all of it. We need to feel it all. I want to just put that in there because I think people feel I will speak for myself. I have been very judgy about like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just pop out of this, intensity, this anxiety, this turbulence stuff? Because it doesn't feel good.
well, and remember, everybody is on their own unique journey. So this is where that compassion comes in. But you know your role. Like I really understand my role when I look at this. So if you see turbulence is dislocated desire, right? Feel into that for a moment. Turbulence is dislocated desire. What we're all wanting is to be and feel loved and home, you know?
Yeah. And this is a human thing to feel. So we can feel the dislocated desire, feel the turbulence in our system. It doesn't mean that we let it drive us. And this is where we choose the humanity, the gift of it, to get our orientation. So what I'm trying to let people know is our physical, and this is not me, I would say anybody who's at all kind of awake right now is feeling a lot, whether it's emotional, physical changes, our minds are racing, whatever is going on for you, that's yours. Mine tends to be a combination, but I'm noticing, oh, I don't want coffee this morning. That's too much for my system. I'm having tea. So I'm feeling the turbulence and I'm choosing to, okay, because a lot of it isn't even ours. This is the point I want to drive home is we keep thinking, yeah, I can work on this and I can manage this. True. But we are interconnected. We're interbeing.
Right.
And that's where we're going to feel what's going. We breathe in the air. We're drinking the water. We're drinking the tea. That is part of all of this. So I want to extend some arms of compassion and warmth and love towards all of us that are having a little bit tougher times right now. And I've heard, things are ending, jobs are ending, places where you're living are like, oh, I don't want to live here anymore. Relationships are ending. And it doesn't mean like ending, but for now, things are what was is ending so that something, and this is the beauty of it. This is where compassion is the acidic state, but the other piece is breakthrough. We are doing this for humanity.
Right. And this is, as you can see up here, it's the channel of experience. This is about us experiencing life, right? All of it. If we were always up in the acidic state, we wouldn't be here. That's for our brothers and sisters that are in the ethers. They're like, hey, enjoy while you're experiencing it because you have a body.
Yeah. Did you hear that in the audio transmission for this gene key? Richard Rudd, the author and founder of this wisdom teaching, he said the dolphin, that amazing animal, his biggest, deepest dream is to be human. And I'm like, oh, I probably was a dolphin. Then I'm like, I can't wait till I'm human. And then I get here and I'm like, okay, I want to be an angel or something on the other side. And I'm like, wait. This is the when he was talking, I don't remember where it was in one of the things I listened to this more, but something about breakdown, breakthroughs, all of that has to happen when things fall apart, which is where the turbulence and all of that. And did you notice the programming partner was conflict to peace? Anyway, but he said something about, what if this was not just a breakthrough for humanity, but it's a breakthrough of magic? And as soon as I felt that, I went, okay, I can be on that bandwagon. I can be one of those marching in that parade, because I feel like that's what I need to have something and that's where the dislocated desire. If I think, okay, the world is coming to an end, that does not feed me. But what does feed me is we're coming somewhere new. And so last night when I was going to bed, I'm like, I'm getting kind of excited. I mean, it may not happen in my lifetime, but I get to be a part of this shifting. And that it gave me the grace for me to fall asleep, because this last week has been hard to sleep. So I have a question for you around, did you hear the conversation he was talking about returning non-love with love?
Well, just the fact that that's what part of our role is to how can we be equanimous in our life, go about our work, our living. And if, how can I say this? Okay. I'll pose this question to everybody, because this is something that came up in my group last night and it was really loud. This week, how might I choose to show up amidst adversity? Like you you cannot control what happens outside of you.
No,
So the most important thing that you can do for you is to tune into you and remember who the F you are. Okay. Like,
absolutely.
and
That's
so with that, it's so important for us to stay grounded in our knowingness of who we are and show up as love.
hmm
I
And love doesn't have to be soft. This is where I want to point in. I love how you always do these nice, quiet, sweet things, and I'm always that. So I want to push back on that just a little bit because if you're in a situation where all of a sudden you're like, I can't be around this anymore, this is requiring us with love, with compassion to say no. So this
well,
is where our boundaries are super clear, where we ask for what we need and want, whether the person, where the other show does it or not is up to them. But I mean,
exactly.
we need to be, as opposed to, oh, then I'll just leave their situation because I can't be in it anymore. That's not loving to them or to me. But if I say, hey, here's the deal, I love you, and this is no more. I don't want this behavior anymore. And I'm laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, we think love means we don't ever have to hurt the other person. Well, we may have a very loud voice when we ask for what we want because we are loving them enough and loving ourselves enough to let that compassion come through. It's the same with what's going on in the world. If there's something that you feel strongly about, then use your voice.
Right.
That's all. Okay, I'm done. I'm off my, that was my,
It just had a little mic drop there.
no, I, I'll get off my sandbox. Sandbox better.
The sandbox. I like playing a lot better.
I probably did have a soapbox in my sandbox. If I think of myself as a child, I think I was, there's my queendom. Oh my gosh. Well, that was
Yeah.
a fun diversion. So,
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit more about how we can, how do we embody this and how do we be with turbulence when it's in our body with compassion?
That's a lot of self-care, right? So doing the physical things for yourself. You love yourself that much to take breaks, to whatever it might be for you. It could be a walking meditation, it could be a sitting quietly contemplating meditation. It could be painting, it could be washing the dishes, but being quiet and like reflective. It is giving, or walk in nature, right? Like, so it could be that. It could be even taking a shower,
Yeah, for me, that's been my grace lately.
right? Or taking a bath,
Yeah.
cleaning out old stuff in your house,
Well, and especially with this full moon, it
right?
is, and with the eclipse. So
Right.
it's not only shining a light on all of these endings,
Right.
all of these things that are like, okay, you need to recognize this chapter has to close, whatever that is. And it's funny because I've been getting rid of all these clothes lately, and I can feel I am not the same person. This doesn't belong in my house anymore. This doesn't.
Right.
So, so whatever, I'm not saying it has to be a relationship or a job or something big, but even long term, I've heard friendships are kind of moving apart, but that makes the space for what is to come. So we're in a space of culling, of finding what is truly nourishing to us. And like this morning, when I went down to do my normal habit of making coffee, I went, no, I'm going to go to, it was like I pivoted in the kitchen and went towards making the kettle for tea. So
Yeah.
I am I'm wanting everyone to listen to their bodies. One of the things that one of the women said, I think it was Pam Gregory. Um, I do love her, the way she and Molly McCord have such different ways of speaking to the where the stars and planets are, but they also bring in their version of understanding, which I love that. And they're both different. Um, I think it was Pam that said our health is going to be very important in the next year to year and a half. And that collectively, but also individually. So, what do we need to do to really step it up in our healthcare, in our, and I don't mean by going to doctors, I mean healthcare of self care,
Both mental, emotional,
emotional,
physical,
physical,
and spiritual bodies.
absolutely.
And so
Everything is
it's
needing.
being proactive to look at the whole picture, your whole, your whole person.
And listen,
Yeah.
because our bodies have a different wisdom. It's funny because for a long time I would think for my body and I'm like, okay, it's time for you to digest down there. Okay. I had and then I had one of my friends from magic school said, why don't you trust your body to do what it knows how to do better than you do? And I went, I don't know. Oh, so trust is the other thing. We can't see but this much. We're just watching the play on the screen or on the stage. There's all the other players that are going into making this scene, including the directors and the writers and the stage hands and everything, the lighting, the music, the background. There's so much going on, and we tend to focus on what the headlines say. You know, and what I'd like to do is imagine that time is stretched and this is a blip and we really don't know where we're going and we need to let
Be
go.
okay with that. Like,
And this is the big T, trust. I mean, trusting our bodies, trusting the process or the planetary. I think the cosmos know a lot. They're all like, hey, guess what? We're going to just make that come to an end. Oop, darn, we're going to help that along the way. So,
and that's the other reason I I was on a walk the other day with a friend, and one of the things that came out was there's so many times that we rely on technology, and I realized, oh my gosh, my latent ability to see various things, like I've diminished that muscle. So I really want to get back to, I'm going to use an example. So when I see things, like let's say I'm looking for something and I don't know where it is in the house, I would close my eyes, I'd ask for guidance, and then I would see exactly where it is.
mm-hmm.
Right now, sometimes I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Oh, I'm going to hit my watch button and it's going to
It'll
do
tell you where your phone is.
it. So let's not bypass what we have inherently in us as mechanisms to see, feel, understand. So I kind of want to explore those muscles and kind of get back into a training program to really tune into our intuition a lot.
Yeah. And Molly McCord even said that a month or so ago. I think it was the end of January. And she said, your clairs are going to start getting more strong. And that you may even develop new ones that you didn't even realize were there because there's new gifts coming online. But we are so distracted
Right.
with all of this that we're not pausing long enough to allow these downloads and allow the awareness. I'm so excited to hear you say that because I've been playing with a few other things that I was like, wow, I forgot what this felt like. And it
And
is
it's magic when the synchronicities happen again. And like,
yeah. And you and I
oh,
both had some major fun synchronicities this week, which I'm like, yes, please, more, please. Thank you very much, please. And I would like to invite people to trust that being quiet, that turning off technology, maybe even putting some things like I have a thing in my phone that tells me how many hours I used it every week and it gives me a report. And it also tells me what apps I was on. I need to do that with my tablet as well. So, what I'm wondering is, can I put some safeguards into place? Like in the morning, I do not look at my phone. I have a clock next to my bed, a little battery operated old fashioned alarm clock. So I can see what time. I don't have to look at that thing, which, because as soon as you open it, all those goodies in there, even weather. Like, I don't need to know the weather. I will be fine for the next 30 minutes if I just listen to me. And it is such a beautiful experience for my morning practice.
Well, I think it's honoring, that's the compassion towards self and being able to tune in. Okay, it's like, all right, what goodness wants to be manifested today? What how am I here to serve as love?
Yeah.
What does love want to
Yeah.
be today?
How am I to show up as love? Because I mean, that is my purpose, is universal love, and my life's work is being. So I keep telling myself, you are to be loving. That is your that is your job. That is the reason why you're here. I know. Listen to you. I know you know this. You probably know it better than me. Why do I fight that?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like I need to be something more than that, or I need to be doing something more than that because I'm not offering my value and gifts to the world. And I'm like, Deborah, stop it.
I think that's the big hiccup. Then I think that's the thing that's moving out right now is that it
One
has,
of them. Yeah.
yep, it has to look a certain way. I had an epiphany this week about that, about like it doesn't matter what I'm actually doing. Just wherever I am, I'm being me, fully expressed.
Yeah.
And hey, that is enough. That is the gift.
I love that. And I am, I feel like we get into this thing of we have to do a job and get a paycheck to be of value. And what if our value had nothing to do with the monetary aspect of it? What if it was to go out and clean up my front garden so that I could say hello to my neighbors who I haven't seen most of the winter, you know? I mean, that may be my way of shining light. I don't know. And
Yeah.
so
Why do we think that it has to be more than
I
just
know.
being present, even to the animals outside? Like, I mean, seriously, our connection to everything around us, just play with that this week.
Oh,
Just
the
play.
birds. I have been so loving the spring. They're so excited because of all, because now there's insects and woohoo. So,
And they are like, I was doing a little experiment the other day and I had my tuner out there and they are super high frequency, their song. Like, song, like if you do, crystal bowls or whatever tuning, they're really super high frequency. So having them around or being around them and
oh,
just imbibing their song, beautiful.
it has been my happy place lately. And I have been, and I'm lucky because for being in the city, as many birds that we have in the trees in the backyard and the side yard and the front yard, it's been amazing. And at the river too, at our little cabin. So I'm kind of surrounded by that. So birdsong is and so when John will turn on some music, I'm like, you're messing with my music out here. Um, so I would like to close. I didn't even look up the mudra or anything. But I do I do know that this is peace. And there isn't a gene key for trust. It just feels like such a uh, foundational principle. Um, yeah, let's do one of
Let's
those.
pull a card from,
Atlantis. Yes,
yeah,
please.
Angels of Atlantis. And this is Stuart Pearce's deck. And
What
what
is this eclipse telling us? How do we need to be around this heavy and light and momentous, literally momentous occasion?
mm, I love it. Um, This is all on Haniel.
Oh, I love Haniel.
It's so funny.
Is she one of the seven sacred seals?
Mhm.
Oh, and we wanted to introduce while you're looking that up. I want to just say that we have been playing into how do we support each other in navigating some of these wild waves that we're on, and uncharted waters as well. And what we have looked into and we're thinking about doing is coming together every week to talk about the chakras, the energy centers in our body, so that we can work on embodying some of these gifts and civic states through somatic practices, tuning and bowls and voice and mudra. So we're just looking at a variety of ways to support us in staying in our body, which was one of the things that was really key about this key is we want to not feel a lot of the turbulence, and go up into the higher realms or go asleep or whatever, and versus staying open with our heart open, because that's what compassion is. And
And
so let's play with that.
and it's perfect because this card is all about integrity.
Oh, yes. Hello, Hanael. That's pretty.
Yeah. So there is a need for us to take a look at the essential parts of our life and the notion of integration. How perfect is that, right? So the force of integrity within Hanael turns untruthful challenges into opportunities for truthful acceleration. Just as the eternal compasses of life teach that truth brings us integration and centeredness in life, the ancient scales will always weigh your heart for truth. So please say a prayer to Hanael, who will help you to clarify any illusion and move you to what is about absolutely pure within your soul. Say Ra, Ma, Ti, Ma, Ra 3 times.
Ra, ma, ti,
Ti,
ma,
Ma,
ra,
Ra. Ra, Ma,
ma,
Ti,
ti,
Ma,
ma, ra,
Ra. Ra, Ma, Ti, Ma,
ra. Oh,
Ma,
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 ra.
Ra. This is an ancient Atlantean chant that will strengthen you and bring sacred clarity, and you will feel blessed.
Ra, ma, ti, ra, ma, ra. So it's actually T's in the middle, ra, ra, in the beginning of the end, ma, ma. Okay, got it.
Ra, Ma, Ti, Ma, Ra.
Yeah, got it.
Thanks, Hanael.
Thank you. And and that's the other thing is thinking that we need to do any of this by ourselves. It's time for us to be reaching out to seen and unseen support systems. And the other thing is to really, truly ask for what it is that you're needing. Ask the universe, ask your partners and friends and family. If we can't start vocalizing, we are not really being in a self-loving, self-compassionate space.
Yeah.
Because other people may be good at reading your mind, but probably aren't as good as you. So that's a childish thing. And that's the other thing I felt very much I heard this morning of growing up, that little one, those younger parts of ourselves that are still healing. We're in the process of letting them mature. And so when we practice asking for what we want, they're going to go, oh man, she didn't get killed or anything. Look at that. She's still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. You get to ask for what you want.
Wow.
Wow.
So let's do it. Let's do this. And we're here. And we'd love your questions, your thoughts, and we'll get started on our new journey. I don't know, maybe next week. Okay?
Okay. Till next time.
Or next time.
Much love.